Hi, this is Manoj. Welcome to Fin Business. Today we have with us Sriram Naganathan. He is a president and head of digital innovation at Videocon Liberty Insurance. Welcome, Sriram.
Thank you.
So my first question is, and you've been in IT for such a long period of time, for the last 5 years, what do you seen as the main change that technology is bringing into the business?
I think
Over
great
a long
question.
period of time.
No, absolutely. I think technology for a pretty long time has been kind of a silo within an enterprise. I would say the biggest change is that it's kind of broken the silo and it's got merged into the business a lot more in the last 5 years.
Okay.
So that clearly I feel is a very positive thing, because earlier we always used to have that business relevance of technology, and I remember there used to be discussions about how a CIO can kind of reinvent himself in the organization. But now I suddenly see that those talks have gone down quite a bit, and business leaders, directors, board, has started looking at technology folks in a much more business friendly role, avatar I would say,
Okay.
where we can actually contribute a lot more to the business, whether it's growth, whether it's profitability, whether it's superior customer experience.
And has that become easier or difficult for the CIO? Because now it's not just about technology, it's about understanding a vast gamut of business issues in which CIO is usually not an expert.
I feel personally that it's definitely easier, mainly because again it's always been a misconception that CIOs are more technical. Given that you work on technology which pretty much pervades across the enterprise, across the length and breadth of the organization, you get to learn a lot more about business. Even without being in business functions, you get to know about nitty-gritties of business, which really gives you a much broader perspective.
Okay.
So the difference in the last 5 years is just that that's got noticed a lot more, and that recognition comes in the form of a CEO or directors on the board coming to CIOs more and more, asking them for inputs, asking them for opportunities on innovating, how can they differentiate in business. So I would say that that overall exposure, which kind of goes across the length and breadth of the organization, which you really get when you are in a function like IT, because IT pretty much pervades all functions. So that really I feel is a big contributor to why the CIOs can really be a lot more contributing to the business.
And do you see another transformation coming in the next 4 or 5 years or something? The role that IT plays?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been hearing this for long. I would really like to start seeing the day when more CIOs become CEOs of organization. The trend has already started.
Okay.
We belong to the larger Liberty Mutual Group, and our chairman of the Liberty Group, for the last couple of years, he has been saying time and again that technology is our business.
Okay.
And we are a very conservative business, an insurance company. But even in insurance, the chairman of our global group going on stage and saying that technology is our business goes a lot to say that that's really the importance that's being assigned to what technology can really get to the business. And clearly the trend has started picking up. We have already a few CIOs who have become CEOs, and I really hope that this trend gets better from here.
Now, one of the things that has happened because with reference to technology is there have been a lot of consultancy assignments going out to companies like KPMG and Ernst & Young, Deloitte, this, that, etc. With the changing nature of technology itself, with more and more fintechs coming in, more and more small companies coming in, how have the engagement with these consultancy organizations, the large ones, how has that changed for companies like Videocon Liberty?
One subtle change that I've seen is that in the last few years, the consulting focus has shifted slightly into more specific projects, consulting around the need for superior customer service and how mobility can help in that space. Okay. So instead of having a larger strategy around how will digital help an organization, which was a very prevalent theme a few years back. Yes. Now we see that they are given point engagements around specific engagements around maybe how a blockchain can benefit an organization, or what are the use cases, a technology like a cryptocurrency can get into an organization.
A follow-on question is that the earlier engagements, for example, creating a digital strategy or a business strategy, typically the assignments, for such assignments, the consultants would come with very high level of confidence of their solution based on the pedigree of whatever R&D and consulting they have done in the past. Are you seeing a similar level of confidence with such specific assignments like improving customer experience or leveraging blockchain, or is still more experimental from their side, from the consultants?
No, very important observation that you made here. I also would tend to agree that the focus and the kind of confidence the consultants used to get onto the table has come down a bit. Because these are very point engagements. On one hand, you really have these insurtech players, the new kids on the block, who actually come onto the table with this openness to experiment, with an openness to get an innovative ideas, and they actually believe not in the traditional theory of get in a hypothesis and then get data points to prove that. The new guys really come onto the table with an idea towards proving the idea and the benefits that you can accrue rather than with the hypothesis, which typically has been the consulting mindset. So I see that that from that perspective, on one hand you have insurtechs, on the other hand you have these big consulting firms. I see more and more people getting more comfortable dealing with these insurtechs, because then they can actually try out stuff, experiment stuff, see how people react to it, rather than come up with a hypothesis and then go behind proving what that hypothesis came to.
Very interesting, quite a contrast actually. What about the changing nature of relationship between insurance companies and major technology providers, whether it's a solution or a service? Has the relationship changed in any major way? Have any intangible factors become more important compared to the past, or have they become less important?
No, this is a very, very critical change that we have seen. So even the big players in the market increasingly have started, doing, startup boot camps. They have their own, frameworks that they have rolled out in the market where they get to co-develop stuff with, insurtechs. So they also kind of have taken cognizance of the fact that, these players are here to stay and they're getting some real value add. So there's definitely been that change. If I talk about it, enterprises like ours actually, increasingly engage large partners for the typical large backend kind of systems, infrastructure. How do you manage your server loads on the cloud, stuff like that. But increasingly on the systems of engagement where you need to interact with the customer, where you need to interact with the partner, there I think a lot more focus on working with insurtech players. So clearly there is a mix and match approach. And the fact that the big companies have recognized this goes more to prove that this is here to stay.
Are you seeing any tech players getting into the back-end side of things, which is currently the domain for the large players? Are there tech innovators targeting the back-end?
So I wouldn't say back-end. So what they're trying to do is focus on processes end-to-end. So they might, an insurtech might kind of focus on a particular use case around claims, and then focus on it right from claim intimation on the front end to the settlement and beyond at the back end. So they kind of go behind one specific use case and dwell deep into it. So that's a trend that we have seen.
Having to take decisions in a world where things are changing very rapidly, where you don't have time to collect all kinds of information to take a decision, is that actually happening? Are you being forced to take more decisions with incomplete data? And if you're going by gut feel or intuition, how satisfied are you, or how confident are you with that method of taking a decision?
In a way, it's good for us that innovation has kind of really impregnated all organizations across industries. So what this has done is, when you have to be innovative, you need to some extent go with your gut feel and instinct. Innovative stuff is launching stuff new in the market, stuff which is untested. Clearly you don't have data points there. Right. So at that, in those cases you really need to trust your instinct. But the methodology that's kind of followed nowadays, whether it's agile, whether it's following design thinking principles, so that kind of gives you a leeway to be actually experimentative, from this perspective. So though you may not have data points, you have a hunch, you have an instinct, you go ahead and try that in the market. But the point is, you don't really burn the ocean. So you're trying to do a small pilot using an agile methodology and try to see how the customers react to it. So the idea is, in the last 18 to 24 months in our organization, we have done around 8 to 10 digital experiments.
Okay.
Only 3 of them have really seen the light of the day. But then because we have kind of stuck to this model, so what we have realized is, it doesn't really cost a lot to actually, fail, because you're still learning, at the end of that experiment.
And these are smaller experiments.
Absolutely.
They are not huge.
Absolutely.
So you and your colleagues in general are not uncomfortable relying on gut feel and intuition and those kind of things.
So
Because historically that has been something that has not been very level of comfort.
Absolutely. So the CIOs are comfortable, I would say, with this kind of an approach. But there are, a CFO, for example, he would rely a lot more on data. Okay. So, there is this very active and constructive arguments, which happens in, senior management meetings and in board meetings, where there are always 2 perspectives. But I'll say that, senior management and boards are becoming more receptive to this kind of an approach. So they are willing to give the instinct a try, where they would have been very close to it a few years back.
So you're looking at the chief instinct officer kind of coming up.
Probably, yeah. Is taking various meanings. So yeah, one of them could be instinct.
Great, thank you, Sriram, very much.